Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 3 Point Weekly. There is no doubt we are entering the quiet part of the offseason, but the Phoenix Suns and Deandre Ayton still managed to keep it a little bit interesting this week. I'll start with your thoughts, Tyrik, on the whole situation revolving Deandre Ayton, the Pacers, and the Suns, and your thoughts on Ayton returning to Phoenix.
Yeah, I was hoping that, not that the Suns didn't match. I was hoping for a signing trade because I did want to see that dynamic in Indiana. I thought that would be a fun young team because I like what Indiana's doing with their rebuild. But seeing him go back to Phoenix is just like so anticlimactic, man. I wanted to see some change. We didn't get it. Now Phoenix seems like they're just going to be running back with the same squad as last year, which is not really a good look considering how their year ended. So we'll see how that all works out. He got his payday, though, so he got a lot more money than what he was probably getting offered before the year started. So shout out to him for getting paid. But I was hoping for a little bit of a shakeup, and we didn't get that. Just kind of been the story of the offseason. Very straightforward, I think a lot of moves have been.
Yeah, I will say it was pretty anticlimactic, all things considered. It's like with obviously like Brooklyn doing absolutely nothing with the pieces that they had up. The next biggest piece to fall was going to be DeAndre Ayton. And him not going anywhere, it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, I see why they did it because it's like you think this team, you still have Chris Paul who's only getting older. It's like you kind of got to just be the best team you can be now. And I think keeping Ayton, it's like whatever you were going to get from Indiana, I don't know if that was going to make you a better team and put you in better position to compete right now. And also he's young, so while the relationship is a bit strained, maybe since they have him under contract for 4 years, it can be salvaged. I guess we'll just have to see what happens in the future. I just got an idea.
What's up?
Okay, I just realized that you can share your screen on this.
Yes.
Sounds like it's time for reaction videos at some point. Hey, all I'm saying is, if you're trying to grow a channel, I'll be watching B Souls and Sage reactive videos all the time, and their content is so funny.
I'll be wanting to do that with NBA, but you really can't because the NBA really be on like next about that stuff.
I don't know, though. Like, and on all the time since I've been throwing highlights in my videos, I've probably only had 2 or 3 that have ever gotten claimed.
I meant to ask you about that because your whole videos be basically like highlights in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually
my rule of thumb for in-season stuff is I don't touch anything that's like within the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
If you touch anything that's recent, they pick it up right away. But anything that seems to be not immediately in the past week or two, hardly ever get picked up. Sometimes on like, unsurprisingly, on like a Lakers or a Nets video with a popular team, it'll get picked up. But even still, sometimes it's just like it's one clip, and you just take out the clip, add in another clip, and you're good to go again. So
it's interesting.
I think we got to talk about how DeMar is washed because he shot 9 for 23 in the Drew League.
Do you know how pissed I would be if I got to the Drew League and my teammates is like, yeah, you got to go to LeBron? I would be so mad.
Bro, did you see the guy that he like was matched up on, like had some hate tweets on it?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like the funniest stuff in the last week has just been social media interactions. Like,
yes.
Like when the Ayton thing happened, the actual move, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. The funniest thing was seeing Devin's tweet when Sham said like, oh, they've made it clear all off season.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm like, made it clear. We didn't know where he was going until now.
Yeah.
Nothing
about that situation. Nothing about that situation was clear. There's been some interesting Shams tweets over the offseason where it's like,
yes,
feels like man's getting some money to say some things.
I don't know. Nobody's reliable anymore, bro. Woj has misses. Shams has misses. Schefter for NFL has misses. It's like I can't trust anybody.
I don't follow Schefter. Schefter gotta go. I don't mess with it anymore.
Yeah.
He took too many L's. I think Woj is still the most. Like I trust Woj above anybody else.
Wendy might be the GOAT now, man. I'm telling you, Wendy might be the GOAT.
Yeah, he hits every once in a while, but then there's like another 9 wild takes in between.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
nah, the wildest
sure
takes
about that one.
I swear, Scoop B has like the most random like just occasionally there'll be some huge news that just randomly like via Scoop B, and I'm like, how does dude just get like one big scoop like every 2 years?
Probably. The dudes be batting like 100, but they got like 3 home runs or something like that. Like it's crazy. Like the worst is Jake Fisher. No shade, but
yeah,
he be having rumors galore and none of them hit. Like none of them.
Yeah. I've probably given him a little bit too much disrespect on Twitter, but man, he
I
just
think I
says
have
he
to.
just says way too many things about the Raptors that everybody buys into, and I'm just like, guys, he's been doing this for at least 12 months now. None of it's been true. Like,
He's the leader of the OG trade talks. He's the ringleader of that shit.
Well, I mean, why would you want the Raptors to be good? They're in Canada.
Man, nobody's.
and the funny thing is too is it's never gonna stop, because if I remember correctly, which I very much could be wrong, he had 5K followers last year on Twitter. He's got 56K now. So it's like, why would you stop?
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Hey, see, this is the area that we're living in. Like, no disrespect to Ball Sack Sports, but that is literally a media page that has grown from false, like just wrong takes. Like, but they do that on purpose. But other people,
I was about to say, I think I can respect that because it's satire. Like,
yeah,
there's a fine line between satire and just falsehoods.
But we're in the like, people don't ever check credibility. And Gabe, you know this because we are journalists, so we know about having to check credibility of sources and stuff.
It's just
people
crazy.
Don't do that. They will just see a tweet. Oh, he has a blue check. It has to be true. Like, that's just how it goes.
It's called ball sack, bro. How is it? Literally, hasn't ESPN fell for it like twice, like three times?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Like, how has ESPN been ball sack? It's called Ball Sack Sports.
What made it funny, the John Morant stuff, they took the image, they took that quote, then they try to throw a Bleacher Report at the bottom. Like, bro, like y'all's interns got to do better, man. Y'all giving these interns these big positions, they got to be better than that.
Dude, that one was some crazy big because they knew that like Ja really did say, "Well, I would have cooked Michael Jordan."
Facts.
So I just like the bait was there because they already knew he was talking his talk, but still, that is a $1 billion organization.
Yeah, you gotta be doing better than that.
Like, so embarrassing.
And they still probably do better numbers reacting to that kind of stuff than anything else.
100% they do. 100%. It's all about the entertainment.
I would love to sit in on like those production meetings, like just to see like what they actually talk about. Like,
yeah, what's the actual objectives? What's the focus?
Yes. Because I haven't like I don't watch ESPN. I haven't watched ESPN consistently in maybe like 5 years. Because I just realized it's really like the stuff they do is just for clicks. Like they're really into just, you know, getting clicks, getting views, which is how it's supposed to be. But then again, you got people watching, you know, for like sports knowledge and stuff, and y'all are not giving them knowledge at all. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can pick which one's worse between ESPN and Fox. Because at the end of the day, it's really just the same. One's just spearheaded by Skip, and one's just spearheaded by Stephen A. It's really just the old First Take.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's gone are the days where you're tuning into stuff like that for actual thoughts on the sport. Like it's not the way it is anymore.
Yeah, I think I would say I probably prefer ESPN stuff just because like they'll be having some terrible takes, but like at least there's like some people that used to be in the league, and at least it's like usually more entertaining. Like I'd rather hear Perk say something stupid than hear like Colin Cowherd say something stupid. Because at least I know that Perk like A, watches the game, and B, like has some sort of knowledge about it. It's like this dude Cowherd comes on, does not watch the game, and then says like a bad take. And it's like, bro, if you like misanalyze it, okay, but if you just like don't at all,
that's what kills me. Like people be talking on basketball, and just by the way they talk, you can tell they don't watch basketball. Like they really don't. Like I be seeing it all the time on social media, especially on like podcasts and stuff. Even like I be seeing like just clips on TikTok, and I'll just be like, I can just tell by the way they talk, like y'all really don't watch basketball at all. Like somebody said that Matthew Dellavedova could do the same thing that Rajon Rondo was doing in Boston.
No shot.
And they would still be a championship team. Like come on, bro.
No shot.
Dellavedova played really good for like 3 games, and it literally like put him in the hospital.
Exactly. Like come on. People just be saying anything just to get clicks. Like we could do that easily. Like we could just come on here and just say some random stuff, and our views would probably go up.
Yeah, like Russell Westbrook was better than Steph Curry in 2017. He averaged a triple-double.
Man, like
he literally led that team by himself. If you put Steph on that Thunder team, are they even in the playoffs? Look at what happened in 2021 when Steph was on the team by himself. They lost in the play-in game to LeBron, who was seeing 3 rims.
I forgot about the 3 rims.
It's really just that simple.
Insane.
That's all you gotta say.
Real talk.
Yeah, facts though. That's why people keep doing it. Because I mean, honestly, like other than there's enough of an audience for actual basketball talk on YouTube, thank God, but there isn't much of an audience for it anywhere else, which really sucks. But a lot of it outside of that is just another form of entertainment, and it revolves around sports, but the primary is entertainment, and as it makes sense, but it's not about let's talk about the sport from a true analytical perspective. You're gone are the days where you're sitting down with analysts, what they call themselves that or not. That's not what they are anymore. It's just entertainers.
Yeah, I think you got to strike a balance. That's why I do enjoy like kind of like the segments on ESPN that'll be like when it's like JJ Redick, CJ McCollum, and Stephen A. It's like, okay, Stephen A. like you're gonna be entertained because he's just naturally entertaining. I mean, that's why they pay him what they pay him. Like he's gonna make you tune in, and you're gonna come away, and whether it's good or bad what he says, it's gonna be memorable. But then across from around the table, you're the people that actually know what they're talking about, give you some pretty decent takes most of the time, and really can like analyze it. And so you get that balance, and it's like, okay, you can still actually analyze it and talk about it without making it boring. And if he does say something out of line, they usually school him and put in like, hey, this is how it really is.
Which is how it should be, man. Because you got Stephen A. like you said, he's a professional entertainer. You got to have people that can keep that balance, and that's why I think ESPN, they're trying to salvage it a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not tuning in. Like I'm not gonna be watching. No. I'll see the clips on Twitter and stuff, but that's about it.
I mean, yeah, they run like 3-hour shows, and I don't like watching TV live anyways, just because commercials. I don't want to watch commercials, which is why I just get on a YouTube video, you skip the ad in 5 seconds, and then you watch it. So it's like, it's all just when I want it. So no, I'm probably not going to tune in live. I might be a part of like, honestly, I'm probably not even a part of your YouTube like clicks at this point. I used to be, but then it's like the clips are just posted on like people's reaction videos or like just social media accounts so much that it's like I'd rather watch that and just clown this bad take with like the YouTuber and support them because that's even more entertaining. So it's like if what you're going for is entertainment, this reaction video is more entertaining than like what you're doing by yourself.
No, facts. That's facts.
And they got money anyway, so I'll support the smaller creators.
Yeah, every view adds up, man.
Hey, as you guys would definitely know.
Not me. I'm not monetized yet. Not yet. I've been peeping. Dev's been going crazy, bro. I've been peeping. Like you're already at 1.5K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peeping,
yeah.
Bro.
The off season goes crazy, man.
It's really crazy. It's the first 1,000. I feel like once you get to 1,000, people are like, okay, this dude is actually legit. And then they're like, okay, I'll watch this stuff now. When you have like less than 1,000, it's like, oh, this guy probably doesn't know what he's doing. It's just like it's almost like having a blue check.
Telling you,
there's no like really verification.
I was told I didn't watch basketball a lot more than the first 1,000 that I have since. I'll say that much. That's for sure.
No, that's funny. I remember when you first hit 1K, and you was I forgot what number you said by the end of the year, but me and Gabe was like, "Nah, you're about to shoot past that, and you're probably gonna shoot past that number."
I think I said 2K, and then
he
Gabe said
nah.
5K.
Yeah, he said 5.
5K. It's at least gonna be a happy medium.
Yeah,
You'll probably be at 3 by the time the season starts. At least 3K.
By the time you setting some lofty expectations, but that is how work gets done.
I mean, I am off all of August, so August supposed to be a good month.
I wouldn't say it if it's not possible, and you stay consistent with it too. So that's why I'm like, yeah,
that's true.
That's
definitely
just
it, man.
Keep pumping out Pistons videos, and you'll be cool.
Pistons videos,
Literally, though.
Kings.
Literally,
I saw the Kings video was doing good. Like, just keep pumping those out.
Yes, sir. Plan is for another one tomorrow. They just keep coming.
Hey, run the NBA 1.5K subscribers. Last video, oh my gosh, last 2 videos, both over 1,000, 46K 4 videos ago. Is that your best like performing video ever?
46K. I didn't see that one. Damn.
Yeah, that's significantly
Guess
above.
what it was about?
The formerly highest viewed video was like literally a year plus or minus 2 days. I forget which way it was a Pistons video last offseason. And that had 12K, I think.
Dude, your What's Next series low-key popped off.
Nah,
Yeah.
crazy.
It's so like the Pistons thing isn't even a joke. Like all these What's Next videos I see right now, the Pistons is the highest with 5.6.
Yeah, no.
And then that Pistons video 3 weeks ago is 46K. Like,
yeah, and my highest viewed video before that most recent Pistons video was last offseason's Pistons video. Like Pistons videos go crazy.
Pistons content.
We love
man.
our Pistons fans.
it looks like the Magic and the Bucks did decently. Portland did really bad. Indiana doing better than Portland is pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a Pacers fan base that just doesn't like my takes, so I get views off of it. So I've had some interesting. Well, it's not even interesting Pacers takes. I was just early to the discussion of they need to trade everything, and people didn't like it.
That is so strange. Your worst performing What's Next video is the Lakers.
It's the Lakers because everyone talks about
And
them.
and it's not even close.
It's not strange.
Yeah, no.
You don't think the Lakers do bad on YouTube?
If the Lakers do bad on YouTube, if you're a small creator, if you're one of the big boys, then the Lakers are good because then you already have the audience. But because there's just so much Lakers content out there, it's just so saturated. If you're not one of the big names, whether that be ESPN or whether it be a Kenny or a Rusty Buckets, but it's if you're not one of the big boys, those teams just don't do well. The Nets video actually started really poorly as well. It doesn't look like it did bad because after about 2 weeks of being out, it picked up. But same thing with them. Yeah, it's usually the big markets, and then some small markets hit, some don't.
Do you think the Brooklyn video picked up because of the trade rumors?
I don't even know what the timing was on that. I'd have to look.
Well, because it's been out for a month now, and you said it picked up after like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd have to look again. Yeah, like at 7 days, it was at 856 views, and now it's at 3.3. So it just picked up out of nowhere.
Yeah, you really shot up in the offseason. I'm seeing like your videos 3 months ago is like 82, 113. All of a sudden, your What's Next series starts, and you're at like over 1,000 consistently.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, we started the What's Next series, changed up the content a bit to be a bit more edited.
Big ups, though. You might have to change your channel banner.
Yeah, that's something I got to look at sometime this summer. Now that there's actually a bit of money flowing in, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh no, I was just saying because you have Miles Bridges on there.
Well, that's also true, but
I don't know if you want Miles Bridges on your channel banner.
Oh man,
that's also going to be changed. But
Scotty Pascal, Triple J.
That's got to be part of the plan this summer. I got to get someone that actually knows what they're doing with some graphics and get that edited. Not that I really care from a pushing the channel sake, but just because I need it and want it. So
that is true. Sometimes the rebrand and like it just does more for you than it does for like anybody else. It's just like I just look at it. It's like having like a clean like desk setup or even just cleaning your room. It's like you just look at it and you just feel good, and it's like it's just clean and fresh. And now I'm happy. I'm not sitting in just looking at something that's like, it's nice and new.
Yeah, no facts. Just want that because it's like I don't think it'll actually benefit the channel at all. I mean, it's just graphics, but at the end of the day, it's like, my graphics are not good. I'm not good at graphics, so it's someone else that makes it look good.
Really? Do you not make your own thumbnails?
No, I do. I don't make
your thumbnails are pretty decent.
I don't make those backgrounds in all justification. Those are downloadable backgrounds, but everything else I do. But.
Yeah, I was about to say the thumbnails are definitely they look like a real content creator. It's not like
Facts.
I just do this together in 5 seconds.
I appreciate it. That's definitely the part I struggle with the most.
You got it down though. I feel like once you get a formula, it gets a lot easier. Like the fact that you just have you have your backgrounds, throw a couple players, you got kind of how you do the text, you just change the colors and keep it consistent. It's I feel like the hardest part was probably doing the first one, but now you got it down.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I felt all off season, because my video style was a bit erratic until then, and then once we got to the off season, it's like, okay, this is how we're doing the videos. This is roughly how the edit will work. We'll add some things in here and there based on the video. And as I've continued to do more, getting into more videos, I've continued to add more things into the editing, but there's a rough system to it, so it makes it a bit more efficient, and in turn, the videos perform a bit better. So.
Are y'all kind of cool on shorts at this point? I feel like you guys tried them out, but it seems like videos just do better.
I don't understand them, bro.
Because personally, when I'm on YouTube, bro, I'm not looking at shorts. Because if I want shorts, I can get on TikTok or I can get on Instagram Reels at this point as a number 2.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
They don't make sense to me at all. I don't get how the algorithm even catches them, how they get pushed out. I just don't understand them.
I feel like YouTube's never been built for that super short based content. There's it's YouTube to me has always been kind of the medium between what used to be a Vine or just how quick you scroll at Instagram or Facebook, and now obviously TikTok. And then it's not all the way to watching cable TV or now watching a Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. It's always been kind of like that. You're not watching a half-hour show. You're not watching a 30-second video. It's kind of like that 15-minute range-ish. At least that's the way I see it, is how it kind of is different.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, me too. And that's just the audience they've built over years too. So I mean, it's going to be hard to break out of that.
Especially when the monetization thing starts at 10 minutes, right?
8 minutes is when you can get mid-rolls. So if your video's under 8 minutes, you still get pre-roll ads and post-roll ads, but the money you make from that is significantly less compared to if it's over 8 minutes. That's why any creator typically tries to get their video over 8 minutes.
I think it might have used to been 10 minutes there. Yeah. I know for a while I used to hear creators say all the time in the videos, they're like, yeah, I might be rambling here at the end because I'm really trying to stretch this to over really trying to stretch this to over 10 minutes.
Yeah, it used to be 10 minutes and there was enough big creators that complained about it and they changed it to 8.
Look at YouTube being pro creator. I love this.
I mean, they're pretty much as pro creator as it gets as far as the platform goes. Not to say that they're without faults, because it's just the nature of big companies, but as far as big companies go with creators, they're pretty much as creator friendly as you're going to get. Hell, there's a reason every Twitch streamer is going to YouTube right now. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm not too in tap with Twitch, but I feel like a lot of YouTubers I watched started streaming on YouTube recently, because I would follow them on Twitch, but I would just never feel compelled to really get on and watch them. And now it's oh, now streaming on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, it's already an app I use all the time. Let me just
Thanks.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just easier too. I'm always an advocate of if you can really build your fan base in one place so people know where to reach you, it's now you're not worried about making people follow you in all these different places. It's start in one medium and then wait till you're stable and big enough there to really then go to other places.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not big enough, you're just either you're not going to have anyone follow you, or it's such a small amount that it just doesn't matter.
it's like, yeah, if you have 1,000 people following you, like say your 1.5K was spread over like 4 different like channels. Now you have like 400 everywhere. And so then just the optics look like you're a lot smaller than you really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the YouTube talk though. This is just being a YouTuber podcast at this point.
Oh,
Man, you're like a month
to
away.
get you into it.
Man, you're like a month away from starting, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much got most of the stuff for the setup now. It's like got solid headphones, got a solid mic. Now I actually got a PC, so I can probably get like, I know it said when I like set up my Windows, it was like you can get discounts off of like the Microsoft stuff, but I might even just use Adobe anyways, because I think through college we have access to like some stuff for free, I think, or at least
I
discounted.
think so.
So I pretty much have all the tools I need now. Just all I need is the experience.
I mean, dude, you're way ahead of when I started YouTube. That's for sure.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
did you start? Like 2020, 2021?
January 2021. Yeah.
Dang, I thought you'd been at it longer than that, to be honest.
Nah.
It's only a year and a half in.
All I had when I started was a Mac and a mic. That's it. 2 M's. That's all I had when I started.
I had my computer, but I had no mic. I had a terrible webcam with a terrible mic on it. It's outrageous. There's a reason I'm pretty sure I've privated a lot of those videos now over the last couple of weeks. There's probably some of them that still exist, but man, that's rough.
Yeah, I've already got enough like decorations and stuff to make the setup look cool enough. I think really what I'm missing now is I'll probably need lighting, and I probably will need to invest in soundproofing at some point. But even then, like I think you can make stuff fine before you get the soundproofing. That's kind of just like an added touch.
Yeah.
But really, just the lighting, so it looks like quality when I do it.
If you need a little ring light, I have an extra one that I don't use.
I will keep that in mind.
All right, bet.
Dude, I just feel like this whole offseason has just been so quiet. I know the thing is like summer league and all that, but like we said before we even started like the recording, it's like literally it's like just summer league being in that whole like you can't take any actual takeaways from this because it's just summer leagues, and it's like at that point, what's even the point? Like the fun, like honestly, the best takeaway I got from it is Portland got a ring and Dame still doesn't have one.
I tweeted that yesterday, but didn't get any love. Yeah, I watched the first couple games, like just to see Paolo, see Chet. But after that, I'm like, I don't want to see these G League play. I'm no disrespect. I just don't want to watch G League players like play summer league. I just don't. No disrespect.
Yeah, once they like shut down Paolo, and then I think I was at like B-Dubs the other day or something, and they had a game on. It was like OKC versus Golden State, and there was like no Chet. And I'm like, I mean, now that like the reason you watch summer leagues for the rookies, it's always been about the rookies. It's just your first taste of them in like an NBA uniform and just like not NBA action, but like pretty much the closest thing to it, I'd say. Because I would say G League level competition is easily higher than college competition. I think it's just how it is. Yeah, seeing them play at least one of the highest levels possible is like that's the thing. Seeing how they transition, sort of, but it's not all the way, and it's usually for like 3 games. So it's so hard to take anything away from it that I'm like, there's just too many games to follow at that point, and I don't feel like people really value the takes enough to even make it worth overreacting. I don't know how well those videos do when people do it, but
if you're a channel of like a specific team, they probably do well.
Yeah.
And you can overreact to it. Like if you're a Raptors channel, you can overreact to Koloko doing something, and you probably get views. But if I tried to make a video on something, it probably wouldn't be that much interest, nor would I have any interest in making the video. So that's more than fine. But
exactly,
I got a notification that was like Koloko like looking like KD with this move, and I'm like, he's not going to be KD respectfully, but go off, I guess.
Yeah, it's like you see dudes in summer league doing stuff that they're not going to do on the NBA floor. Like no disrespect, but that's not going to be their role. Like Quentin Grimes was running the show. Like he looked so elite. He's already a good player, but he's probably not going to be doing that on the NBA level. Like that's just a matter of the fact. Like I don't know, and it just creates unrealistic expectations. Like people gonna be like, "Oh, he was killing in summer league, but why isn't he doing this in the league?" Like it happens all the time. Like people go off in summer league, and some of them don't even see an NBA floor at all. Like it just happens.
I think it's kind of that thing of like how some players are like pretty good first options that can take you so far as a first option, but then like really not good second options. It's like players who, when they get to control the show, they can look good individually, but like they're not good enough to where they can be a number one option on an NBA team, or like, you know what I mean? Like run the show at any level, like even running a bench unit. And so it's like just the way like your play style is, I think, it's just like the classic play styles that don't transition to the next level because you have to have the reins in order to like maximize your talent.
I mean, it's really like it's just the NBA summer league is just glorified summer league. Like it's a glorified Drew league, or you know, the King, like all these leagues that go on during the summertime. Like that's basically what the NBA summer league is. It's just more so for rookies, some second year guys, and some guys that are G League players trying to get a contract, or dudes from overseas that are trying to get a look or a training camp invite. That's really all it is. Like I saw, like it was a Minnesota summer league. I think it was in Minneapolis. And like Nathan Knight was like pulling up from three. Like I've never seen Nathan Knight pulling up from three like he was, like getting 4-point plays and shit like that. Like it's unrealistic. Like these are NBA players. If they get the opportunity to look good in summer league, they probably will, and they will look like, oh, this dude looks like a number one option. But then you throw him alongside KD and LeBron James, they're obviously not going to be the same player.
Yeah, I think the best thing about it too is that it just kind of reminds everybody that like the most like trash player in the whole NBA will literally still 21-0 you without breaking a sweat. With all due respect, like literally the worst player to play NBA minutes last season is probably played in summer league. Well, unless there's like a veteran that played like 2 minutes or something that like was really bad. Yeah, I didn't want to mention any names, but like one of like probably the 5 worst players in the NBA last season was playing in summer league like 2 weeks ago.
Most likely.
And they probably look pretty decent while doing it. It's like that's just how high of a level it is. And so I like that we can see people kind of show out and realize like, hey, just because you're not good in literally like the best league in the world, you can still be very good at the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
It's also bad seeing dudes that are like second and third year guys, and they should be dominating, but they're not. Like Killian Hayes should be dominating, but he wasn't. RJ Hampton looked like a rookie out there. He looked so terrible. I heard Sharif Cooper looked very bad. I don't know if that graphic was real, but if he was really averaging 1.5 points, dog, that's bad.
Dude, I think the Pistons have already kind of admitted that Killian Hayes is kind of a failed experiment at this point. It's like just the fact that they picked Jaden Ivey, like you took Killian Hayes in the lottery, 2-3 years ago? Top like 7 pick. Now. And so, I mean, I feel like at that point, you just drafted 2 guards back to back. You know that's going to be your backcourt of the future. That's obviously the plan. You're kind of just admitting at that point, like, hey, I think we made a bad pick. And so the fact that he's like, he might hit restricted free agency and they might just let him go.
They might rescind that qualifying offer for real.
That's what I mean. Like they might just let him go, period. Or he might get flipped at like trade deadline for a 2nd round pick.
Yeah,
it's just weird because Detroit's shown like time and time again, like they can get something out of dudes that NBA careers look dead, but one of the guys they drafted, his NBA career looks dead, and they can't get nothing out of him.
Exactly. It's like it's literally like the doctor that like heals everybody else's problems. I think get sick and like can't figure out what's wrong with them. Like, you're
Man.
literally a doctor. Like, this is what you do. Why can't
That's
you do it to yourself?
That is a great analogy. That is a great one, man.
I guess I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just something with him specifically, or maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is, because obviously we haven't seen him in a different situation. But it's like Detroit is not like one of those situations where it's like, this is really bad, we need to get him out of here. It's been the land of opportunity. So the fact you don't get anything there, it makes me scared to think if he goes somewhere else, like, will he get another shot? Because where is there really more opportunity at?
Nowhere. He was the worst starting point guard in the league.
Yeah, like, you think of like all like the bottom tier teams in the league. Like, if you go to like Indiana, they got Tyrese, they got Ben Mather. Like, their backcourt, they're probably gonna do that. San Antonio has like a bazillion guards. They're still trying to work that down. Like, what really poor team is he gonna go to and be able to even show out?
Maybe like Houston, but they just drafted a guard too, and they're still in on KPJ. So it's like, OKC has a ton of guards. Like, yeah, it has to be something more so to do with him. Like, it might be a confidence issue. Maybe he's just not as good as people thought. Like, he just might not be that talented.
I guess that's just the next Frank the Tank.
I don't know, man. Killian Hayes has looked he's looked very bad, bro. Like, really, really bad.
I'm still willing to give him a couple of more months, but if he doesn't show something early on here, then it's probably wrapped.
I'll give him to
the fact he
like
still hasn't played 100 NBA games yet. I'm willing to give him a little bit.
Okay, yeah,
that's true. I feel like I remember his rookie year. Like, he was injured forever, came back and showed a little bit of flash, but then his second year just came out and was incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, he was so bad.
And that's kind of just like where did those flashes go? What happened to that guy that we saw?
I would give him through this season. Like, just see what he has. Maybe getting moved to the bench will be good for him. You know, sometimes that can elevate a guy's play because he's playing against second unit guys instead of starters.
Right. Yeah, you're playing against second unit guys, and then maybe being just like the guy running the floor in the second unit would be better than playing like next to the Cade, just so he can take kind of primary playmaking duties and see what he can do there. So it can work out. Maybe we can hold out hope and be positive. Like I just said, he's a top 400 basketball player on this earth.
Yeah, he has an NBA contract, guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money too, no two-way.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. It's like, basically back to the whole point. It's like players that look bad in summer league. It's just, I think the whole thing with it, and honestly, another reason why I don't like making a ton of takes about it is because it feels like you really can't win. Because if you look bad in summer league, it's like, oh, he can't even perform in summer league. This dude is trash. But then if you perform good in summer league, it's like, oh, it's like just summer league. Like, don't take too many takeaways from it. This shows nothing about what he can do in the actual NBA. And so it's like, it feels like you just can't come away super positively without having a significant amount of detractors.
I think that's how it is with everything though nowadays. Like,
True.
Somebody's always gonna have something to say. Like, that's just the era and age that we live in.
That is true. People win the NBA finals and there's still something to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just doing a bit of numbers after we talked about the YouTube videos going 8 minutes. Absolute bare minimum, even with significant changes in ad rates, it's at least 50% more money you're making on a video that is over 8 minutes. So there's a reason your creators push for an 8-minute video. There is a reason.
Just keep that in mind every time.
Yes, sir.
The 8-minute mark, that's all you got to get to. When you're writing that script, if you need one more page, write one more page.
Thanks, man.
I think I'm a bullet point guy through and through, though. Never in my life have I done any presentation or anything that I've like written a script for. It's always just, here's a couple bullet points. and then I'm just going to ramble about each of them for about 30 seconds to a minute and then move on to the next one. And that has always filled my time. Like, whatever time I need to fill, every single time it's filled up.
Yeah, that's normally been me too. That's normally still how I do presentations, but kind of flipped the script a bit for YouTube stuff. But I was definitely a bullet point guy for the longest time.
Hey, I mean, you must be making good scripts though, getting numbers like that. Because a lot of people, you can write a script and you just sound like a robot reading. Like you just sound like you're reading off a script.
It's all in how you present it. If you present it like you're reading a script, then it's not as good. You gotta have energy in it. You gotta have fluctuation. You gotta be able to show that you're just talking and it doesn't just look like you're just sitting down reading to yourself. Like, you got to be out there presenting something, and there's something to be said too for writing a script that can fit a video compared to writing a script that someone's going to sit down and read, and that's a bit of an art in of itself.
That's true. It's like you got to write it more for talking than for like you're not writing like a MLA formatted cited paper. Yeah. It's like you got to write it in a way that flows well. Like you would like how would I say this? And that's how I'm gonna write it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why there's a lot of times I'll write a script and I'll read over a paragraph and it's like, yeah, you'll read it over and then it's like, okay, this is not how I want to actually speak. So you just you end up revising things because I mean, it's a big difference from my engineering reports to writing about a YouTube video. So some of that's got to get looked over. I definitely in general speak super rambly just all the time, which is like, that's like my biggest thing I got to work on with like making videos and presenting stuff in general, just not saying too many words. So being able to go in and like revise something and have not really a script, but being able to keep it succinct. It's just, I got to sound natural, but differently. Because if I just sound too natural, it's just going to be too much. It's a lovely part of YouTube, though. If you start rambling on for something and you want to cut out 30 seconds, just take it out. I still do that all the time. I'll start talking about something, and then I'll just deviate for a minute. I'm like, why? Right. Why did I do that?
You just listen to yourself back, and you're like, why are you saying this right now?
Yeah, it's like I'm just repeating myself and saying the same things 3 times over. There's nothing being added here. I mean, I'm cutting in and out of things throughout after I'm done recording, I'm editing. If I'm not making at least 30 to 50 cuts through my video edit, that's probably about as little as it gets at this point in time now. Like, it's just how it is.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if an 8-minute video is like at least around 20 minutes of footage. Maybe not that much, but like maybe like a 14.
Yeah, I'd say like if I'm making about a 12-minute video, I usually have like 15, 16 minutes of footage. Roughly.
I thought it'd be more than that cut out. Yeah, I guess that really depends on your flow, though. Some people like to have the real like super tight flow, but some people will allow for like a little bit of like breaths and pauses between their stuff to make it sound more like conversational. I think it just depends on the creator, though.
Yeah, for sure. And it depends, and even just like your restarts, if you screw something up and you restart right away, or you take 10 seconds, or and stuff like that. But yeah. It all just depends, because I mean, like a person could sit down and get an edit done for a NBA YouTube video in 10 minutes, or like I'm taking like 3 hours now roughly, or you could sit down and edit it for 12 hours. Like it all just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, I gotta respect your intro game, because the fact that you just do an intro one take and we get into it on here is like that is crazy.
To this day, I still mess up my intro, like pretty much every video. To this day, man.
And I don't know. I feel like there's just the odd video where I'll screw it up a million times, but other than that, it's fine. But there's just the odd video where I will sit there for 5 minutes to get the intro, and then I'm good. But there's the odd one like that where it's just like, what is going on, man? Cannot speak today.
Welcome back, guys, to another video with Gabe Knows the NBA. And today we are going to be talking about why the Detroit Pistons are going to run the league.
First video
already-
gonna be a Pistons video.
Already. Just already. I think, listen, at the end of the day, I'm a businessman. You know what businessmen do? They look at the numbers and the analytics and they see what makes the money.
Makes sense.
And so whoever's buying your products, that's who you got to sell it to.
Facts, man. Big facts. It's the reason why my first video after the What's Next was the Pistons. That was not a coincidence.
Did you do 30 of them, or did you just do it for teams that didn't make the playoffs?
I did everyone other than Dallas, Boston, Miami, and Golden State. Because at that point, I was just like, I don't have anything much to say.
Really?
And also slight time, but honestly, like I started the scripts for all of them. I was just like, I don't have a video's worth of stuff to say about you. I just don't.
I feel like after the offseason, Dallas might have a little bit, but the other three is really.
Man, that's tomorrow's video. It's coming.
Yeah, Miami's like, hey, come back, find a couple more random guys that you find every offseason that are just on like minimum deals to come give you quality minutes. Reload and run it back again next year. If you're not gonna trade Tyler Hero for somebody, I guess you're just running it back. Golden State, what's next? Run it back. You won the title. The Celtics, run it back. You were 2 games away with a star duo of like 23 and 24.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thoughts. It's like I'm not talking 3 minutes about these teams. It's just there's no point, right?
Like literally,
even though it technically left the series incomplete, I was like, I don't like to force out videos for the sake of forcing out videos. If I don't have something to talk about, I'm not going to talk about it.
It should have just 8 minutes of keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, like same thing when I do my season previews. Like I might not do one for Houston because what am I going to talk about? Respectfully, like Houston have got some good young players, but as far as the season preview, it's like focus on development. Play your young guys. Yeah. You're going to be in the lottery again. Like
the only team at the bottom I would really want to do one for would be like OKC, just so I can stress the fact that they need to start winning.
Yeah. OKC will probably get Indiana might get one just because they're new to the rebuild. Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely some times where you might think of you're doing a series, but there's still some teams that just don't fit the mold.
I am feeling good though. Coming out of the draft, I think I was super high on Keegan Murray and Ben Mathurin, and they both have been proving me right so far. So those are like the 2 guys that I kind of latched onto coming out, and you know, I can be happy with that.
The Keegan looked really good.
Like I said,
really good.
Can't judge too much off summer league. You know how it goes, but still, at the end of the day, the guys that I said were nice have been nice so far in what they've done, and I can only judge them off what they've done. So. Call me impressed. And if one of them if one or both of them makes All NBA first team, I simply did tell you so.
All NBA first team or all rookie first team?
If one of them makes All NBA first team, then I really I'm a prophet at that point.
Keegan Murray the savior.
All rookie first team, which like Mathurin has a good chance. He was the second guard taken. So like if you said the best players got drafted first, I mean, he could make it. And then, Keegan Murray is more would need one of the top 3 to not have a great season. But honestly, it's possible that he puts up better numbers than one of them.
I think all rookie teams is just like positionless best 5 players.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look up last year's all rookie teams.
I think there was like 3 guards on last year's teams. Cade. Nah, it might have been 2 guards, 3 forwards.
Yeah. Last year, all rookie first team was Cade and Jalen, and then Scottie, Evan, and Franz.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was positionless. Respectfully, I don't know if Jalen's on there.
No, it's definitely positionless.
Yeah, the votes had Jalen as the higher up. Recency bias got him in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was about to say, if you look at the whole season, I don't know, but if you look at the second half of the season, I mean, easily.
He was killing the second half of the season, man. He was killing.
That's how that goes. Okay, yeah, now I see what you mean with positionless. I just looked at the second team, and it is quite literally The tallest guy on here might be like Chris Duarte.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
why.
really-
like-
I don't know.
He always slips my mind too when I think about the Pacers. I don't know why, but
He's like 34 years old.
Yeah, I definitely height is not my strong suit when looking at different players, but I don't know if Ayo Sumo, Josh Giddey, Bones Highland, or Herb Jones are taller than Chris Duarte. So he might be the
Josh
defense.
Giddey might be. Josh Giddey's like 6'7", 6'8".
I mean, I'm a total casual. I'm like borderline on the casual line in football. Like, I really could not know enough to talk analytically with somebody and like about like plays and sets and formations and stuff. But it's like I know a decent amount of players. I know what most like all the stats mean and all that stuff. So it's kind of like that fine line where I sort of know what I'm talking about, but I don't know enough to where I will tell you like, yeah, I'm not about to give you a take on that because I just do not know.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm the
that's
same
definitely
way.
me too.
Like football, I'm the ultimate. I'm a casual football fan. Like I enjoy watching it. I know a lot of players mainly because of fantasy and Madden, but and once you get into like I don't like advanced stats and stuff or formations, I'm lost. Like nah, don't talk to me. But baseball, this is me with baseball. I'll see like a highlight. I'll be like, damn, he's still playing baseball. Good to know.
Yeah, no, somebody would be like, yeah, we were running like a 4-3-4 cover 3 zone. And I'm like, dude, I got no idea what you're talking about right now.
Really though.
Pretty much the only thing I know is like the number after the cover seems to equate to how many people they've got deep. And that's pretty much, I only know that for Madden because like I'll run like a cover 2 and there'll be like 2 deep blues.
2 deep, yeah.
And I'll run a cover 3 and there'll be 3 deep blues. And I'm like, okay, I got that.
Yeah, that's about as far as I'm getting.
Yeah, I just learned the numbers on the route trees and what routes they actually mean, and I don't even remember it. But I saw a video that broke it down.
Did not know route trees had numbers.
I didn't
Me
either.
either.
I just knew a 9 was a go route, and that's the only thing I remember from the video too.
Yeah, I could tell you a go route, like an out route, a corner route, a post route,
Yeah,
in route. You know, they got all those. Of course, the double moves are always going to be the flashiest plays, regardless.
I'll just stick to basketball, man.
Right.
X though. X. I can probably call myself. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say I could call myself more than a casual soccer fan, but I don't know if I watch enough of it to call myself that. Knowledge-wise, maybe, but that's about it. Everything else, I'm definitely casual.
I used to actually enjoy watching soccer in the summertime. I just grew out of it.
Yeah, like if the World Cup was on in the summer instead of being corrupted in Qatar in the winter, I'd definitely be watching right now. But instead, I'll have to watch during finals, which will suck for my productivity. But that's okay.
It is supposed to be on this summer.
Yeah, but because this World Cup is in Qatar, it starts in December, and it was heavily corrupt, and half of the FIFA officials got taken out and arrested because of it.
Oh man. I knew something was missing, bro, because I was thinking about that the other week. Like, hey, the World Cup should be starting soon because it's like middle of summer, and that's usually when it starts.
Yeah.
Dang, that's tough.
Yeah, it starts like December 2nd or something like that. It's so weird.
Oof. Might not be
It
watching.
it starts right at the beginning of finals.
I've been saying for so long that I want to get into hockey and soccer, and I just don't know why I can't get around to it. I think it's just because like it's so hard to get into because there's so many teams and so many leagues. Like there's so many leagues that are relevant. It's like if I want to get into basketball, just follow the NBA. Like I don't have to follow like EuroLeague or anything to really like hold a casual conversation with somebody. But then if I follow Champions League, then somebody's gonna start talking about what PSG or Real Madrid or Barcelona did, and I'm gonna be like, I got no idea. All I know is Premier League.
Yeah.
And Champions League's gonna come around. I'm gonna be like, I don't know anything about like half of these teams at least. And then like the World Cup, now everybody's playing for their countries instead of their teams. And I'm like, what? What is happening right now?
Yeah, it's a lot to follow for sure.
So yeah, it's like the ease of access is not all the way there as far as following it. I mean, I see why it's the great. Like to me, the reason why basketball and soccer are the greatest sports is because of ease of access to play it. Because you don't need that much, whether that be people or equipment. But like, as far as following it, soccer is quite a bit.
Yeah,
and I just say for baseball, I'll get into baseball when they introduce a salary cap because I don't like that small market teams are just feeder teams for like the like 8 richest teams.
Yeah. We complain about parity in the NBA. It's not too bad.
Yeah, like the Yankees and Dodgers have been good every year for like ever.
Yeah,
I think when I first started watching baseball, the Dodgers were bad for a couple years, and then after that, they started spending all that money.
New ownership, they've been chilling.
Yes.
And now they're the owners of my favorite soccer team, so all is good.
Basketball wise, like literally from 2019 to now, the only team to make the finals twice is the Warriors.
Yeah.
And even going back to 2018, the only team to make it multiple times is the Warriors.
Yeah.
And so
basketball has a little more parity than other sports, maybe. Some sports. At least in baseball. I mean, I see like soccer teams are typically always the top of the top.
Soccer has no parity. You can fluctuate from finishing in 17th to 8th, but like usually the top few teams in a league are the top few teams in a league because again, like there isn't a salary cap. There is financial rules, but they don't really impact anything. So
yes,
I just see that like as soon as I saw that Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi were on the same team, I'm like, okay,
super team.
And then it's in Paris, so I'm like, okay, it's in the capital of the country. Can I name one other team in Ligue 1? No, I can't.
No, because everyone else is terrible.
That pretty much told me exactly what I needed to know. And it's like, like PSG won Ligue 1, and literally the whole comment section was like, who cares? Do it in Champions League. And then that's where I thought it was really funny because then I'm like, imagine in basketball if you like won your team's conference and it was just like, who cares?
Who cares? You play in the East.
Bro, imagine making like the finals, like you won like the Eastern Conference. There's like, who cares?
It's the East. Who cares?
Who cares? Win the finals. It's like, bro. It's like, but it's like at least like there's not like there's sort of a celebration for winning your conference, but like not really. Like you won a league championship, and it just like nobody cares, and I think that's so strange.
Makes sense though, because they got a god squad over there, bro. Because
they just have a super league.
They've won 8. They've won 8 of the last 10 titles in that league.
Like that's not fun, bro. Like they literally have 3 of the best players in the world. Like 3 of the best. Like they're probably all the best in their countries too, or at least one of the best. So like that's insane.
Yeah,
that is insane.
That's crazy.
I remember when soccer was trying to start like a super league like a couple months ago, and it was
that was like last fall or something like that. Yeah, there's all the big teams in Europe were trying to create a league. That's crazy.
They might as well.
It really just makes me think though, like if the NBA decided to like combine with another league or something to make like a combine the rosters, like would there be any team in like the Euro League or like the like Chinese League or something or the Canadian League that would like be better than the worst team in the NBA?
No.
And I feel like there wouldn't be. And that's why I just think soccer is so crazy.
That would be fun if, like, I don't know, the NBA champs had to go play the Euro League champs and the Euro League was actually, like, just as good. Like, that would be kind of fun, but we're probably years and years and years away from that even being a possibility. That might never happen, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like that exists in soccer, and it's still not that competitive. Like it is to a point, but I mean, there's still some 7-1s and some 8-0s that happen because you get the champion of each continent, and it's just it's always the 2 European teams in the final. Like it's just how it is.
So imagine the Shanghai Sharks versus like Barcelona's basketball team to like face the Golden State Warriors.
They
would like a basketball world title.
They'd get swept 4-0 in the nastiest of ways.
Facts, though.
Is Steph Curry playing a fourth quarter if there's a 7-game series?
He might not play past like the 4-minute mark in the third quarter.
If the
Any
Sharks, if they have the Dragon from 2K18,
Was that
or
2K18
maybe
or was that
I think
19?
it might be 19. It might be not. Yeah, because 18 was that really stupid like
Oh
Jordan
god,
showcase.
don't even get me started.
So if it was from 2K, if it was the Dragon from 2K19, is Steph Curry playing in fourth quarter?
No,
No,
Definitely
not
not.
they
even.
would need
Definitely not.
they would need like a team full of him to even get Steph Curry to play in the fourth.
That is like, yeah, that's. I just think that makes it such an interesting sport. It's really, I guess that's probably a good argument for it being the best sport in the world too. Is that like, there's multiple leagues that are relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And they become relevant just based on the European competitions as well. Because like a few years ago, where Ajax makes a run to like the semifinals, and it's like the Dutch league is not considered one of the top leagues in terms of like there's usually a top 4, top 5 regarded leagues, but there's still other teams in these countries that then become relevant that make it interesting. So, and then the World Cup just ties it all together. I mean, Canada's not a big soccer nation, but we're in the World Cup for the first time in like 40 some odd years. So you best believe the popularity of soccer in the last 2 years has grown a lot in Canada, and I mean, it's just the nature of it because the World Cup just attracts attention like nothing else does in sports.
Yeah, the World Cup is it's even if you don't like soccer, it's just like it's a spectacle, bro. Like you just have to like watch a little bit because it's literally like all the best nations in the world like getting together and playing the game. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just fun to watch for real.
Yeah, like America has a soccer league, but I would still probably rather watch Premier League or the World Cup or Champions League before I'm watching MLS. And that's no slight to MLS. It's just if I'm watching, I want to watch the best of the best competition.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I don't watch the MLS at all.
I'm not surprised, considering it's not one of the best leagues, and you're also not in the States. Like, I wouldn't be
we got a
surprised
few
if the
teams in
four not
Canada
against
too,
us.
but yeah,
I was about to say there's a couple Canadian teams.
yeah. Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal got one, but I've never been to one. It's just I don't get respectfully. It's like the league's gotten better, but
there's literally a team like 10 minutes away from where I live, and I've never been.
Yeah.
There's an MLS team where I am now and where I'm at school, and I've still never been to it.
There's one in Cincinnati too.
Yeah, there's FC Cincinnati. They've been around.
Oh.
They started off in a lower league, and they were like bullying everybody in like the lower leagues. So then they just moved up to MLS like super quick.
Oh.
So then they were pretty bad. I don't know if they're good now, but they were pretty bad in MLS for a while just because they got caught up so quickly. But it was like the biggest thing in the city for a while because the Bengals were terrible, the Reds were terrible. And so FCC was like, they weren't in MLS, they were in a lower league, but they were doing so good there that they were like, it's the most fun thing in the city to see because they won something. I mean, now it's the Bengals for obvious reasons, but
yeah. So Ohio has a lot of sports teams.
Yeah, I mean, Columbus is low key like the weakest for sports overall. It's just Blue Jackets and Crew, and that's it.
I mean, Ohio State's football is like
that's the thing. They don't need the pros.
It's like a professional team. Like,
they pretty much got all the. That's probably why they don't have that many pro teams. Just like
makes sense.
The NFL. I mean, obviously Cleveland and Cincinnati have so much history, both being around for over half a century. But like, even if there wasn't, I don't think they'd ever expand to Columbus because there's already a bigger game in town.
Yeah, I don't think they would ever get bigger than Ohio State.
It's like, why do you think like the NFL's never expanded down into like the deep South that much? Because what do people care about? That's the SEC. That's the SEC stronghold. Like
that is Alabama is their professional team, bro. Like they're not worried about
Alabama, Auburn. Like the Alabama-Auburn rivalry is bigger than probably any NFL following down there. LSU
for sure.
Yeah.
Even like I guarantee you, Ole Miss's fan base is probably huge.
Bro, they treat like football in the South is like religion, bro. Like they die by that stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like the couple teams they do have down there, I feel, which is weird. I feel like I don't know how big the Saints are in.
The Saints are huge.
Orleans.
The Saints are huge.
Are they huge in New Orleans?
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while, but yeah, like once they started winning, like every single home game is sold out basically.
I was like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense because like their stadium's so nice and everything too. But I'm thinking like, dude, LSU is huge, so I didn't know how they like did with like a pro team in town.
I think it helps because LSU is actually in Baton Rouge, so it's not like the same exact city. They're close, but it's
Right.
not the same exact. I think that maybe helps a little bit. But yeah, the Saints are pretty big, I would say. No bias there. I think the Saints are pretty big in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I know plenty of Saints fans just around here.
Yeah.
So that's like, I wonder if they're one of those teams that has a big fan base, but somehow don't have a big fan base, like where they're at.
It's surprising. Like when I went to see them in Cincinnati a few years ago, I saw so many more Saints fans than I thought I would see. Like really, it seemed like half the stadium was like New Orleans fans, which is crazy.
That's what I mean. Some fan bases are like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was more like Clippers fans, like not from LA.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Because like LA is like, I mean, that's just such a Laker town that it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if a majority of their fans were people that used to root for like a San Antonio / Toronto or like an Indiana or came from there. Just like people that like fell in love with it from the Chris Paul days or like just liked Lob City and got it from them from that.
Yeah.
Just for like their fan base might not be huge in town, but then it's like just widespread.
No, definitely. Yeah, fandom's a weird thing. Very weird.
There's definitely a couple like that. Probably, I mean, I can think like OKC is probably the same way. People that just like the KD Westbrook era got into it, but like something tells me that Oklahoma is not the biggest like basketball market. I feel like that's the Sooner place more than anything. So
yeah, you know the Sooners are terrible. Not terrible, but
I mean, I haven't heard anything about
overrated.
like Oklahoma basketball since Trae Young.
Buddy Hield.
I mean,
like, they were Trae Young. They were
that's just
bad.
That's just the Sooner. I mean, obviously Oklahoma State had Cade.
Yeah.
So there was relevant college basketball in Oklahoma.
Then again, like college basketball isn't like I don't think it's as big as it once was. That's just maybe me not watching as much, but it seems like college basketball used to be a lot bigger in like the mid 2000s, early 2010s. And I feel like it's not the same anymore.
I think it almost struggles from like the devalued regular season more than almost anything else. And it's almost like it's like a double-edged sword because we always talk about how good like March Madness is and how March Madness is almost does better than the NBA playoffs sometimes because it's one game elimination. But then it just devalues the regular season because then it's like you just need to make it to March and go on a run. Somebody's going to go on a run. Somebody's going to make it out. So then it's like, yeah, like regular season doesn't matter that much, but the playoffs are super important. Where like you look at college football, you literally lose like one regular season game as a top program and you're just screwed. So every game is important. Even if you're like, you can be like literally like the number one ranked team and playing somebody unranked and nobody's ever heard of. And it's like the game is still important because you have nothing to gain from it. But if you lose, your season's over.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's a good point. And that's probably one of the bigger reasons I can't get into baseball either, other than the fact that it's just not the most entertaining sport to watch. It's like we won or we lose a game, okay, like whatever. until the last 10 to 20 games, it's just like I struggle to care about a win or a loss. It's just so many games.
I feel like they just expanded their playoffs or something, but I know like their wild card round was like 1 to 3 games or something. Like it was super short. Yeah. And it's like, bro, you play 162 games for a wild card spot, and you're out in 2 games. Like I think like the last time the Reds made the playoffs
was 1 game elimination. I thought.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know because I know the Reds made the playoffs like either last year or the year before, and they lost 2 straight to the Braves to get eliminated.
Yeah, I think at one point in time there used to be the 3 series, but I'm pretty sure it used to be a 1 now. I don't know how it works with the expanded playoffs this year, but
it might. I don't know. I don't really keep up with baseball as much. I see how the Yankees are doing. That's really it.
That's what I mean. Like you play that
Yeah.
many games to just instantly just your season's over.
Crazy,
It's
man.
just that's wild.
crazy.
Like at least in the NBA, you get like a series. You're not just like one and done
Yeah,
after
you
that.
you get
Games.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you are if you're a 10 seed, but
At that point, though, I mean, you kind of deserve it for being that low.
That's fair.
You should be on the brink.
yeah,
Which I mean, it's good. I think like I feel like the play-in tournament should stay around forever. I think the only thing they need to figure out is how they count those stats. Because right now, those stats doesn't count for nothing. Like it doesn't count for people's all-time playoff numbers, and it doesn't count for people's all-time like regular season numbers either. But it's like then if you do count them, it's like you're giving people extra stats that like other players have the opportunity to get. So it just makes it really weird. But I mean, I know a lot of people don't care about all-time rankings anyways, but some people do. And then you're gonna get those people on Twitter that are like, "Oh, well, this player would actually have more career playoff points than this player if you include the playing games."
I mean,
And
if you've played that many playing games, man, then I don't know what to tell you.
that is true. That is true.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Let's start giving out playing MVPs just to really piss people off.
Yeah. What's the I know now they do like conference finals MVP awards. I don't even who won.
So
Did
dumb.
Tatum win the Eastern Conference Final MVP?
Yeah,
I assume so.
yeah.
it probably should have been Jaylen Brown, to be honest.
I don't remember either of them playing great in the finals. I think Jalen played better. But
Jaylen was actually really good in the finals. Conference finals, they were both iffy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
that's
yeah.
Miami's defense at the end of the day.
Like Jaylen Brown had a 40-point game, but all I can remember is like the 6 turnovers he had in the third quarter.
Dude, I just remember all this stuff coming out that
That's
was
rough.
like Jalen Brown literally cannot dribble the ball. Like the dude can get the ball and score it, and like that's it. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Well, at least y'all got Malcolm Brogdon now. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about that. Hopefully that brings your
True.
turnover numbers down a little bit.
Hopefully.
Maybe they can get a little bit of a what's next video. Bring them turnovers down. Let Malcolm Brogdon come in and do Brogdon keys. Just give him the keys. That's your number one option.
There's not really much to say. I realized that when I did my video, I'm like, there's not really that much to say. Like, they made some good moves. Their season was good. Hopefully next season can be a little better. Like, that's really it.
Yeah,
And that's the
Yeah, it
fan
definitely
talking
seems like
right
that.
there.
Legit.
yeah. MLB has 3 wildcard teams now.
3 now?
The one,
Wow.
the one and the 2 seed get buys. The 3, 4 plus the 5 in a best of 3 series.
That's so confusing.
There's no single knockouts at least, but
Yeah,
it
that's cool.
does seem overly
Yeah,
confusing.
so that's what happened at Cincinnati when we made the playoffs. Which I'm kind of happy we didn't, because like we were low key carried by Trevor Bauer being really, really good at pitching, and I'm happy we did not make a run or anything now, because it's like, bro, if we would have made a run in the playoffs being carried by Trevor Bauer just for all that stuff to happen, like then it would have just been more anyways. So I'm like, just save us the trouble.
Yeah. Baseball and football are similar. Like, you can just kind of get hot at the right time and make a run. Like, baseball, if your bats are going into the postseason, or you got really elite pitching, like, you can just make a run. And football is kind of the same way too, but basketball is more so like the best team typically wins.
Which is so weird that baseball is like basketball with that, or I mean like football, because it is a series. Like the fact, like usually the thing in football is if you make the playoffs, if you win 4 games, 3 for like a bye team, you win the championship. It's 4 games. If you say, hey, we just need to win 4 in a row, win 1, hey, we need to win 3 in a row, all of a sudden, like, you can make it far. But in baseball, like, bro, you're probably winning a solid, like, 12-ish games to get to the World Series? Probably not 12. Probably like 10 to get to the World Series, like 14 to win a title.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that you can get hot and win 14 playoff games against teams that are like above you, like that's impressive. But it just shows like when your bats get hot, you can just have hot stretches that last weeks.
Yeah. It really can.
But yeah, I feel like I can't even think of the last time we saw like a super major upset in an NBA playoff series. That was like
Suns Mavs. That was.
I don't know though,
and even then, it's not like it was an upset, but it wasn't like unfathomable.
All right, yeah, this is the thing with that series is the fact that like, yes, the Suns were the better team, but if you look and say, it almost reminds me like when the Cavs were facing the Warriors in the finals, like the Warriors were the better team, but just because the Cavs had the best player in the series, you always gave them a chance. And so it's
That's
like
fair.
the Mavs had the best player in the series. And so I think that always had like kind of that at least little bit of like, okay, there's a shot. You haven't really seen a team where it's like a player or a team has the best player in the series and they're the better team, at least like 3 seeds higher than their competition. Like it is like a first round series. Say
maybe last time I could think of something like that would be 2011 when the Grizzlies beat the Spurs. That jumps out because that was a 1-8 matchup. I would say Tim Duncan was probably the best player in that series, on paper, and they lost in 6. And Zach Randolph dominated Tim Duncan. So
insanity.
that's maybe the last time I can really think of something like that. Honestly,
it would have happened in 2017, bro. I'm telling you, the Bulls would have beat the Celtics if Rondo didn't get injured. I will stand on that till I die.
That's fair.
Especially because they won the 2 games at the Garden.
That's fair. I'm not going to dispute that, but he got hurt, so we made the conference finals.
Actually, how big of an upset would you consider when Portland got swept by New Orleans?
See, I was thinking that, but AD was probably the best player in that series at the same time. But they did get swept as the 3 seed, which is
they got swept as a 3 seed, and Dame was like arguably the best player in the series. I think it was okay. Probably not yet. I think Dame probably peaked like 2 years after that.
Dame was really good then. I don't know if he was. AD was like kind of already elite. Like
that's true. Yeah, Dame was really good, but he really like got into like top 2 point guard conversations. Really, just right after that year, like that series was almost what spurred him. It's like that happened where he was just getting clamped by Rondo and Drew
Holiday.
And he was just like, "Yep, I'm just gonna pull from 40 feet now." Then his very next playoff series, he hit that shot.
I think he said like that's the series that made him like.
Right.
Have to get better. Like, I gotta like expand my game a little more.
But I can't even think of like that many times that a 60 just won. If a 60 has won at all since that series. So like I don't know if there's been an upset bigger than that since that, especially being a sweep.
Let's see. That's the last one I could think of, honestly.
The biggest recent one I can think of, I guess, is probably the Hawks
beating Philly.
Yeah.
But that was still just a 4-1, and that's the.
I think that was an upset.
The Mavs just did.
That was a 1-5. I think that was an upset, though. I think that was a big upset.
What was a bigger upset, though? I'm gonna give you 3 and tell me which one was the biggest upset. Suns versus Mavs this year, Hawks versus Philly that year, or when the Heat swept the Bucks in the bubble.
I think they beat them in 5.
And 5 still that series.
I'm with Dev. I think that Philly, because they had the best player in the series, and I said to myself, I probably made a video on it too. I said, "There's no way that Atlanta goes into Philly in Game 7 and wins." I almost gave them like a 0% chance.
Kevin Herter disagreed,
and they went into Game 7 and they went into Philly and won. Like I thought there was no chance. I thought Dallas had a chance because they had Luka, and the Miami Bucks won. I did think the Bucks were going to win that series, but it didn't really surprise me because Miami was just kind of that good all year, and they played Milwaukee really good. So that I wouldn't say like that really like shocked me more than Philly losing Game 7 at home.
Yeah,
it's
just
just
that's where I'm at too. Because I feel like the skill discrepancy between Phoenix and Dallas and between Miami and Milwaukee is much less than what we would have thought, at least on paper, compared to Atlanta and Philly.
That Miami series was just like because from what I remember, the Bucks were fully healthy, had the MVP, like back-to-back MVP, probably like the best player in the series and probably the third best player in the series because Chris Middleton was probably better than Bam. I mean, I would probably say that at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like you had the best player, the third best player, and the better team overall, and you lost in 5 as the 1 seed.
Yeah. I think Giannis got hurt in like game 4 of that series. They were down 3-0, which is like,
Oh,
I
yeah, he
think-
went down game 4 and they ended up winning that game.
yeah, because Chris Middleton had like 35 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was more shocking that series was like that the Bucks did not stand a chance. Like that they went down 3-0.
Yeah.
I think that was more surprising.
Like they got dominated.
Yeah.
Like the Suns got waxed in game 7, but at least it was game 7. Philly
Yeah.
lost by like 10 in game 7 to an inferior team, but it was in game 7. Like Milwaukee got washed in 5.
Philly had the easiest path to the conference finals that year.
Facts.
The easiest path, man. And they blew a 25-point lead. Ben Simmons had all of his moments. Tobias Harris had his moments. Joel had like a half where he didn't hit a field goal. Like that was all very surprising to me. Like everything in totality was just super shocking. And even like Trae Young didn't have like a prolific scoring series, and they still lost. Like
Did
you
you
look
see
at
that,
everything, super shocking, bro.
There was a game in that series where like Atlanta was up like 12 with like a minute left or like 2 minutes left or something. Philly started playing some crazy defensive scheme, brought it like all the way back, and Atlanta won by like 1 point.
That was game 1, yeah.
Was that game 1? I just
Yeah.
remember that game was one of the craziest endings. I'm just like, no way they're going to actually do
That's
this.
because Doc Rivers had the bright idea to put Danny Green on Trae Young. Like you have Ben Simmons, who was, in my opinion, the
crazy.
defensive player of the year that season. Like, what are you doing? And then he made the switch, and then like Trae Young couldn't get off really. And that's like after that game, I was thinking like, yeah, there's no way Atlanta wins the series. Like they're gonna make that switch, and Trae Young's not gonna be that much of a factor. But they still ended up winning the series. So yeah.
It's funny
Yeah.
though, because I feel like there's been so many times Danny Green's been put on like elite perimeter players defensively, and it's just like time and time again it just doesn't work. But coaches keep doing it.
Yeah.
Did he get minutes on Steph in the 2019 finals? I don't even remember.
Yes, he did. It made me
I'm not
very sad.
surprised. That is true because he ran a shooting guard, and they probably were not putting Van Vliet on him or Lowry. So yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, it started with Danny, and then we started boxing wanting with Freddie. But
So yeah, Danny Green had to guard Steph. He was probably guarding LeBron in 2013. I imagine that's
Nah,
crazy.
Probably
Danny
Kawhi
Green would have-
was.
yeah, there's some pretty good pop clips of when he was asked about who
Yeah,
Danny Green
sure.
was covering and how bad it was working. So
I remember-
we'll tell him to grow 5 inches and get faster.
Yeah.
Danny was. That's like I was not super tapped in yet when that happened, but like the fact that Danny Green was about to win Finals MVP,
He was going off.
Wow.
Yeah, like- he would have actually like deserved it. Like if they would have won that series and he got it, like I don't think people would have been too mad about it. Whereas it's not like the Iguodala thing, but like he won it, and then you look back at it now and it's like, bro, that's Steph's MVP.
Tony Parker, he might have stole it at the end, to be honest. Because Tony Parker, his last couple games in that series, I just remember him like game 6, he was going like shot for shot with LeBron in that game, if I remember correctly. And Danny Green did have a crazy series. I think he hit like 23 pointers in that series.
They had the
Back
record.
then,
I
that's like unprecedented. You hit 23s in the series.
Yeah, it was
Man.
crazy back then.
I don't know. I assume it was probably Steph that broke the record in 2019 when everybody was injured.
Probably.
But I don't know if it got beat again since then. Like if somebody did it in like the Milwaukee Phoenix series.
Steph might have done it this year.
I'm gonna be surprised if it was somebody random. Like if some shooter on Milwaukee, like if like Chris Middleton.
Chris
which, I mean, I
Middleton.
think he's an all-star, but like say Chris Middleton came out in the finals and just had 23s. Like I would not be too surprised.
That record probably got broke multiple times, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Now the internet is about to help me out.
I'm already on it. Don't you worry. It's not gonna be. That's gonna be all time, isn't it? That's not what I want. Probably gonna beat me.
Oh yeah, it says all-time finals threes, and it's Steph at 1 and Clay at 2.
Yeah,
In a series, though.
Yeah,
LeBron's at
Steph.
3.
Oh,
J.R.
I think it
Smith
said
is at
one
4.
series.
Like all
Yeah,
time
it's
in
all
the
time.
series, just total.
That's all time in the NBA Finals.
Oh,
Yeah, because of course the
Curry-
top 4
Curry's got 152.
just played in that
then Clay,
series.
LeBron, and then there's a significant drop, and then you got J.R. Smith, Danny Green, and then you get the Robert Horry. So the list changes pretty quick. Ray Allen, Kobe, Derek Fisher, and then KD. Manu,
It's pretty
and
much
then
just the
MJ.
people that played in the most finals games since
Yeah,
like 2000. Like the only players on here like from that really put in work before 2000 was like MJ and like Michael Cooper's down there. But everybody else, it's like a couple players from the Lakers dynasty, players from the Spurs dynasty, players from the Heatles, players from those Cavs Warriors series. Like, it didn't. Yeah, that's literally that covers almost everybody except Ray Allen.
32 for Steph in the 2015-16 season is the most in a
Actually,
single
no.
NBA Finals.
That covers Ray Allen too because he was on the Heat.
he played.
Everybody on this list played for everybody on this list played for the Spurs, Heat, Lakers, or Warriors.
Yeah,
32
Danny Green
threes
hit.
this series is crazy.
Danny Green hit 27 in that NBA Finals.
Oh, okay. 27.
Steph's broken it twice with 31 in this past year's finals and 32 in 15-16.
15, 16. I'm surprised he didn't break the record in 19, even though it only went
That was a bad series.
In 19, he had 24. In 15, he had 25. Or no, in 19, Clay had 24. Curry had 23.
And Clay missed the game too.
Clay missed a game and a half.
Like a game and a quarter.
Hey, the way they talk, we were going to lose that game for sure if he kept playing. So
He got
must
hurt,
have missed a significant chunk.
He got hurt. Oh, y'all were probably gonna lose that game. I'm not gonna lie. Clay was not missing, bro. He was not missing that game.
True. At 11 sits Tatum with 20 in this year's finals, and Duncan Robinson sits at 13.
Hey, yeah, they talk about failed super teams. The Warriors got DeMarcus Cousins and didn't win a title, bro. I'm sorry. They literally, that picture of 5 All-Stars standing next to each other is like ridiculous. I don't know. One of the Warriors might not have been All-Stars in 2018, but I know Cousins was because that was when AD wore his jersey because he got hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like at least 4 All-Stars because I know Clay made the All-Star team. Dre just might not have, but at least
Draymond probably didn't.
5 guys that all made it within the last 2 seasons. All-Stars on the same team.
Yeah, that's crazy. And now we've resorted to counting all-star appearances on guys that are 35 plus with the Lakers to try and talk up a super team.
Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, prime Russell Westbrook. 2017 Russ on that Lakers team. I would like to see that. I still wouldn't fit great, but I'd just like to see it.
If his
Like,
jumper
imagine
was
that.
falling like it was back then, it might be decent.
Was it falling that much back then, or did it just
He
fall
was
in the
like-
clutch moments?
He was like league average, I think, that season. I think he was like 35, 36%. And his mid range was probably well above league average back then.
Yeah, probably.
Russell Westbrook 2017. 3-point percentage was 34%. That's decent. That is
That's
such an
great.
outlier.
That is great for him.
The season before he shot 29.6%.
And that was on
The season after, it
7.2
was
attempts as well.
29.8. Yeah, okay, that's not bad. I don't know what his mid-range percentage is, but his field goal percentage overall is only 42%, which is not great. But
That's the lowest of his career minus his first 2
he
years.
was taking 24 shots a game. His
Yeah.
second highest attempts per game was in Houston. That's surprising.
Yeah, that's
I know
not
he
all
had Paul.
the
I mean, I know he had Paul George for like those last couple years in OKC, but still, I feel like James Harden was taking more shots than Paul George.
That was a funny duo. They made.
I wish I saw them for
kinda.
longer. That's one of the ones that I really wish I would have seen for longer because they were really fun just to watch.
They were decent
And they
together.
were decent. I mean, they lost. Obviously, they got washed out in 5 by the Lakers, but it's like that was the Lakers when the Lakers were like dominating everybody.
Yeah.
Like that was like when it wasn't like a joke team.
The bubble Lakers are a super underrated team. I think they get a little too much disrespect.
I saw that
Definitely,
discourse about like people were like, "Oh, the Warriors won a title a month ago, and people aren't talking about it anymore." The bubble happened 3 years ago, and people are still talking about the Lakers all the time. And it's like, bro, people don't talk about the bubble to talk about the Lakers. They talk about it to be like it's a fraud. It's just the bubble. It doesn't count. Like I never hear people talk about the bubble. Whoever talks about the bubble to talk people up, unless you're talking about those random superhuman performances by random players.
Yes.
I feel like it's never used to really talk somebody like Jimmy Butler did what he did in the finals, and people still were like bubble fraud until this year when he willed them a game away from the finals again.
Yeah. To be fair, I've been someone that hasn't given Jimmy his full respect either. Not that I think he was a fraud, but I definitely thought like this is just better than he's ever played ever in his career. And I don't know if that's replicable. And we've seen that. I mean, we've seen the flip side from AD. He played from a shooting perspective his best shooting he's ever done from jump shooting, mid range, or 3-point range in the bubble. Certainly haven't seen that since. So
Yes.
hopefully that changes. But
it was really good for
the bubble. It's fair to criticize the bubble.
I just think it's like I don't think it should be criticized more or less than any other time of basketball. It's just it happened. There was some really good performances and some really bad performances, just like any other stretch of basketball.
It just helped out injury-prone players, so it does make sense that like the older veteran team ended up taking away the championship. That's really the only thing you can say, though. Everything else is like, I mean, it's ball. I really don't think, like, yes, crowds can have an influence, but do you really think crowds influence the outcome of the game that much? Personally, I don't, because like when you play at that high of a level, I don't think half of them are paying that much attention to outside noise. I think most of them are like trained enough to be locked in.
Yeah. Once you get past the first couple of minutes of a game, you're locked. Yeah. You're fine. I mean, heck, some people, if you're like me, even like preferring to play on the road. So it's nothing. There's nothing I love more than getting booed by an away crowd. It's a good time.
I just wish we would have saw like it's so sad that like Kyrie didn't play in the bubble or like KD wasn't in the bubble. Like players that are kind of sort of injury prone now. It's like the time that really benefited the injury prone players the most. I wish they would have been in for. I don't think Ben Simmons played in the bubble either, if I remember correctly.
He got hurt.
I was about to say, because, yeah, that's when the Sixers got, like, bullied by the Celtics, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I know that was, like, the Embiid has no help series. Then they were supposed to come back the year after.
I mean, Embiid was like his numbers look good that series, but he wasn't as dominant. He wasn't Joel like he is today. Like I'll say that. Like if we played him back then, he probably would have willed the Sixers to like having a chance to win that series.
I mean, I'd say he's probably in his prime right now. That was probably a little bit before prime.
That was the year after Jimmy left. That was a very just like down year overall for him. Like he just wasn't as good. Like the year before, he was a lot better, I would say, than the 2020 season.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's been. I love the stat that's like Joel Embiid was like the only player to be second in MVP and not make All NBA first team, and he's done it twice.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play the center position in today's basketball.
It's just crazy. I was about to say it's crazy that it never happened in the 90s with all those like centers that were great, but then I realized that Jordan was top 2 in MVP every year, and all of a sudden it makes a lot more sense.
Facts.
You would think it would have happened in like 95 though. Like it'd be like Hakeem and Shaq or something, or it would be like the top 2.
Maybe David Robinson or somebody.
Right, exactly. I don't know though. I don't know all like the 90s stats. Like I couldn't tell you who won MVP like half the years in the 90s. If you ask me any year in the 90s, I know 93 is Barkley because the Suns were like that. Yeah. Every other year, I'm guessing Jordan, unless he was retired, in which case I'm guessing Hakeem. And I think I think Karl Malone won it in like 98, maybe.
Did he win 1 or 2? I thought he might have won 2.
Malone won 2. I think he won 98. I
Might
feel
have
like he
went
might have won
back-to-back.
90. I think he might have won 99 as well. Because I don't know who else would have won 99. Because the Spurs won the title, and I don't think it was David Robinson.
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
played like
That's a good question.
they played the Knicks in the finals.
Yeah, he's
and
got 2.
Ewing. I don't think was ever MVP.
Karl Malone has 2 MVPs.
He's got
I
0
still don't
titles,
understand,
but-
bro. How can you be second all time in scoring with 0 scoring titles?
Longevity.
Craziest stat ever. Okay, at least like LeBron, but LeBron has a scoring title at least. I think it's only
Technically,
one, but he has it.
Technically, too. I'll give it to him this year, man. He just didn't play enough games.
Oh yeah, that is true. He did have the highest points per game this year.
Kareem probably didn't win that many scoring titles. He might have won a couple in the 70s.
That's what I mean. I feel like he probably has a couple because the competition in the 70s wasn't great because like there was the ABA competition and
Didn't Jordan win like 9 score? Like, didn't he win like an
Yes.
unprecedented amount?
yes, he won a ridiculous amount.
10? Like, he won a crazy amount of scoring titles.
Oh, I guess Kareem only has 2, 71 and 72. He was putting up the points though. He averaged 32 other times besides his scoring title. So he averaged 34 separate times. I think you know who was winning score? I didn't know Bob McAdoo was winning scoring titles back then. And I only knew that because of that tweet you sent me.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob McAdoo was tough.
Jimmy Sotos from Ohio State said, I'm about to wash Bob McAdoo. All right, buddy.
Bob McAdoo would give him like 40.
It's just the forgotten era. It's literally like no
70s,
players from
yeah.
the 70s besides Kareem are really remembered that well. And then even players from the 80s that aren't like literally like
Bird or
Bird
Magic.
or Magic or not that. Like nobody, like who ever talks about Moses Malone? And he's an all-time great player.
I don't know.
All-time great player, back-to-back MVP, won a ring one of those years, I believe, because I think it was his first year in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Had a like all-time duel with Dr. J, and then nobody talks about it.
Alex English was another dog. George Gervin.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of 3 Point Weekly. Be sure to leave your thoughts on the Deandre Ayton signing down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more over the next few weeks throughout the offseason. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.